I hope you guys enjoyed our last video. We went to Wormslow, and where else did we go?
The Waving Girl.
Oh, the Waving Girl, and the World War II monument in downtown Savannah. Savannah is covered in stuff to do. Smothered, yes, smothered in stuff to do. And honestly, I'm really disappointed in myself because for years we only lived, what, 3-4 hours away from Savannah?
Yeah, really, I mean.
But we always just went to Myrtle Beach or we went to Charleston, which are both great locations. And we love Savannah. We've been to Savannah before, but there's just so much to do. You can't do it all in a week, even with, you know, restrictions with COVID and things being closed. There's still a lot of stuff to do. You know, there's the beaches and everything else. Just hanging out on the river, out on the Riverwalk in Savannah. You know, you could do that for hours. So, highly recommend coming to Savannah. So, we're going to do something a little bit different today. We're not checking out a historical site. Well, maybe later. But right now, well, I guess this is historical. Never mind. This is historical. So
I was going to say, wait a minute.
But
it's just historical in a different way.
Yeah.
It's a fun way, interactive, fun way of looking at it.
So for those of you who may enjoy partaking of spirits, drinking spirits, that is.
Not ghostly spirits.
Yeah. Well, they do have that too.
They do have that in Savannah too, but
that would have been cool to go to.
Right.
This museum we're going to marks a sad point in the history of the United States when it comes to those who like to drink alcohol. And what are we talking about? Of course, we're talking about Prohibition. And here in downtown Savannah, Georgia, is the American Prohibition Museum, and we're heading there right now. Very excited to go check this place out. We've done some research on it. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. So, next scene, we're out of the car. Let's go.
Hey everybody, we're at the Prohibition Museum.
Well, actually, we're outside the Prohibition Museum in Savannah, Georgia.
We're going to go inside and see what was prohibited.
Let's go find out. So now we're inside the Prohibition Museum, the American Prohibition Museum. Mask required, obviously. And that sound you hear, it's not me. See, when they found alcohol and they just dumped it in the gutter, and this is what happened. This is actually a picture of kids scooping it up out of the gutter.
It's just amazing.
Yummy. Let's see what else we can see. All right, so me and my friends here, we're just hanging out. He's not sharing. I think I need to find some new friends. How's this for kids wanting to outlaw alcohol? We children want sugar. Don't waste it on beer.
It was used for liquor manufacturing rather than candy. And up here, the dry argument that the barley should be yeast for bread to feed the World War II soldiers.
Carrie Nation, leading the temperance movement with an axe or hatchet. She's not a friendly looking person at all.
She survived a mentally ill mother and 2 husbands, one of which died of drunkenness.
So she survived, I don't know if you heard what Shelley just said, but she survived a mentally ill mother and 2 husbands, one who died of drunkenness. I wonder if she drove him to drink and drove her mom crazy.
She had an axe to grind.
She had an axe to grind. Yeah, so that's kind of a fun fact a lot of people don't realize. The Prohibition actually just outlawed the sale and manufacture and distribution of alcohol. You can still drink it. That was legal. Technicalities. Oh, here's a good fact. The first income tax was passed the year before Prohibition to replace lost revenue from liquor taxes. So income tax replaced liquor tax. Okay. So why did income tax go away once the liquor tax came back? I'll tell you why. Because once a tax happens, it stays forever because the government finds a way to spend your money. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize the impact, the economic impact that Prohibition had. Like this sign here says, up to 40% of all U.S. taxes were paid by brewers and distillers prior to the Prohibition Act. Tens of thousands of people worked in the industry, either directly like making spirits or selling it, transporting it, whatever. All of them out of work. For the whatever good it did, there was a lot of negative.
Great for the moonshiners. That business is booming here. It took off like crazy. I've been working this steel day and night.
So much fun! I enjoyed it.
I think it would have been a lot more fun pre-COVID.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like being at Disney though, like all the mannequins and the displays and how they did stuff. It was kind of like walking through an attraction at Disney.
Yeah, they had a couple of period actors in there, right? When you first walked in and one right towards the end. The first one was very into the character. The second one just stood there. He didn't say anything. He didn't do anything except when I said hello, and he said hello back. But I think before COVID, these actors, and there might have been even more, actually interacted a lot more with, the guests. So that could be something we missed out on, or it could be something we hope they had. We don't know. We didn't ask.
There was one kind of graphic scene in there, so if you have really, really small children, you may want to consider that or ask about it when you go in.
All in all, very informative, very fun, well worth the money. I mean, it really was. I highly recommend it. And its location in downtown Savannah is once you leave there, there's restaurants, there's bars, all around, so you can grab something to eat, grab a drink.
And a sweet shop.
Yeah,
you can get your.
There's a few sweet shops actually, but yeah.
Your pralines.
Now we are off to get a little
light on the subject.
Yeah. Well, things are going to get salty too. Things are going to get salty. It's time for a little salt life. So we are heading now to Tybee Island.
See you there. So we came out to Tybee Island because we wanted to see the lighthouse. And it's right there. And unlike the Wayward Wags, we can find a lighthouse that's open. Unfortunately, we got here after 4 p.m., which is the last climb to the top. But neither one of us wanted to climb to the top anyway, so we're good.
Yeah, unfortunately, we weren't able to do much at the lighthouse because, well, my knee won't let me. Shelly doesn't want to climb up to the top, and we were, like Shelly said, we got there a little bit too late. And what really stinks about this is I love lighthouses and I love climbing up in them, but you know, the knee says no, so we go with what the knee says. So now we're on our way to Fort Polansky, which is a Revolutionary War fort, if I remember correctly. I don't know. I had to do some research, and we'll see you at Fort Polansky. Oh, and there may be another lighthouse. So, see you in just a second in Fort Polansky. Well, we made it to Fort Polansky, and man, this place is packed. I mean, there's probably 2 other cars here at least. And the reason for that mainly is, well, it's COVID season and stuff's closed or inaccessible, however you want to call it. But we're here, it's hot, and we're gonna go walk around. There's about a 0.7 mile each way trail we're gonna walk on, and we're gonna see, according to the signs, we're gonna see a memorial to John Wesley. Mm-hmm. We're going to see some gun emplacements from the Spanish-American War, I believe. And we might see another lighthouse. So while the visitor center is actually closed, there's a ranger outside. You can get pamphlets and information on Fort Polansky, and you can buy some stuff or anything. They'll just have to go out back and get it. Because you walked up there, I don't remember.
Yeah, they didn't have anything necessarily out to purchase. And actually a lot of their trail guides were given out, so they were having you take a picture of the trail guide so you would have it when you go out there. Not that the trails are really long or that you get lost, but you know, sometimes it's just nice to see where you're going.
What is the significance of Fort Polansky? Well, this is a Civil War fort where the Union Army successfully tested a rifled cannon in combat in 1862 here. Now, a rifled cannon sounds like, well, is that a rifle? Somebody hold it up on their shoulder and shoot it. Now, rifling refers to grooves in the barrel, so it'll spin the projectile, because if it's spinning, it'll actually go straighter. So the first rifled cannon was used on Fort Polansky by the Union soldiers in 1862. And because of how well that worked, it actually rendered brick forts obsolete. Built in 1861, so it lasted 1 year before it became obsolete. Isn't that cool?
It's a lot of hiking and walking, so if you, I mean, it's all flat, but if you come when it's really, really warm, like it was for us today, it's kind of slightly miserable.
Yeah, so we're not going to do all the walking. Well, first of all, I can't do all the walking, but we are going to at least go check out a couple of things. I doubt we're going to make it to the lighthouse because that's a pretty long hump each way. So, but we'll see what we can see, and let's go see what we can see. All right, here's the turrets for the guns. You see, I just walked up that one. And we're overlooking the Savannah River. And there's also what looks to be I don't think that's a gun emplacement over there. I think it could have been like a well. They closed in. And there goes Shelly and Talon. Okay, so I left my hat in the car again, which reason why is it's hot and my hat doesn't breathe. And this needs to breathe because I'm sweating like crazy here. So we didn't walk over to, well, let's back up. Fort Polansky was neat. I really wish we could have gone inside and checked it out. There's another fort coming up that it supposedly is open, so we're gonna go check that out. That'll be later in this video, hopefully. So, but what we're gonna do right now is, since we could not walk out to the lighthouse, and we found out that you can't walk out to the lighthouse anyway. You can walk near it, because the lighthouse is actually on a very tiny island. So if we'd have walked that 1.5 miles or whatever it was, that would have been pretty brutal, and I'd have been pretty upset because, you know, my knee is not in good shape. So what we did was we drove across the bridge back towards Tybee Island, and because I was looking on Google Maps and I saw something that looked like we could just pull off to the side of the road, and we did, and we're here now. And
it's kind of creepy, actually.
It's kind of weird because it says it's a gated community, and it's not a gated community. It was going to be a gated community. They got the gate up, but they never built any houses here.
Gated street.
So this is the housing development here, as you can see behind me, the only building in here is a gazebo. They built like a really big gazebo, like a community gazebo. That's it.
And well, and they have like the startings of where, you know, like
the power lines
are
coming out of the ground.
Things, yeah.
So they're ready to build. So if you're interested in some cheap property, this is probably it. I don't.
And you might have a lighthouse in your backyard.
But
bugs.
But they had a couple of, and you're going to see in just a second. They've got a couple of historical markers here talking about the significance of that point of land that we're standing on, as well as the lighthouse. And so let's go check those out and check out some lighthouse footage because it's on the other side of the river. So we got the tripod out. I mean, I went all out. I got the tripod out, got our SX740 camera out with a 40 times optical zoom. So we got that out there. So we're going to show you some really close-up pictures of this
cool lighthouse.
Cool little lighthouse. So let's check it out. Well, those shots of the lighthouse turned out better than I thought they would, especially with my very limited photography skills. So now we're off to a place I'm really excited about because I really hadn't been there in like 20, 30 years, 40 years, 35 years, long time. Been a long time since I've been back there. So let's go to Brunswick. Maybe have some stew. Let's go.